episode 20 of WAZZUP. What's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
That's the best one we've had.
So, Tim Ortiz. It's Ortiz, right? Not Ortez?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got it right. See?
Boat
You did get it
racer
right.
extraordinaire.
Yeah, he used to race cars.
Why did he go to water?
So,
Oh, I had to do one or the other, so we chose the water after I had my kid.
Oh,
so tell us about how your racing career started off here.
Man, I guess I was about 21. Ended up meeting some guys in Houston. I had a drag bike, so kind of did the drag bike thing for a little while. And then met a guy that was down the road right there from Madman, Herbert Brown. They called him Boo. He had a little S10 truck. And he said, man, you want to drive this thing? I'm like, man, I'll do anything once. So, drove that little truck around for a little while, and then drove another car for a friend, and ended up getting my own car, and it kind of progressed, and drove the 580 class a lot for another buddy for a couple of years, won a lot of races. And then I decided to venture off into the Texas Automatic Pro Mod deal when it was around, and I bought a Wally Stroop GXP GTO. Or sorry, it was a GXP. And we ran that deal for about 2 years. And then we got pregnant and had Gage, and we had to either decide to get rid of the car and go boat racing, or stick with the car scene. So we made the choice to go to strictly boat racing. The reason we made that choice were two things. One, I was driving my wife's dad's boat at the time, and we really thought he was done racing, so we couldn't campaign the capsule boat. So ended up buying a jet boat and doing that deal. But the people, I've done all forms of racing. I've done asphalt, done drag racing. The people in the boat world are really nice. They're a tight-knit group, more like a family. I mean, we've borrowed motors between rounds for the guy that we've, had to race the next round. Just the camaraderie and everything in the boat race world to me, is a lot tighter knit than the car world. And, I got an 11-year-old that when I hit the track on Thursday or Friday, I don't see him till Sunday, and I don't have to worry about him at all. Phone, hey, he's eating with us. He's over here with us. Everybody knows everybody. So that was the biggest factor for us to stay boat racing.
Okay. So
now, with that being said, my father-in-law is 2 boats later and about 4 paint jobs later on these different boats. So he's still racing. So we do campaign, 2 boats some of the time. So
is there a reason you had to go away from the capsule boat?
No. So for me, the capsule boat was, it's just the expense, right? So I can afford to campaign an open boat, which F-Bomb is where you guys picked up and started supporting me. That was just something that I could afford to do. I took the motor out of my GXP Pro Mod car. We stuck it in there, and we did really well with it. The blown alcohol deal with the capsules, there's just a lot more expense to it, a lot more maintenance, and just something that me personally, I couldn't afford on my own.
Right.
So
if you don't have enough people to help you, it gets frustrating.
Yeah.
now, what classes were you racing with F-Bomb?
So F-Bomb, we ran QE, which is the class I race now with a new boat. And then we ran what they call Pro Jet and Unlimited Fuel Jet out in California. And at the time we were doing that, we set all the records everywhere. We had them here. We still have records in California that haven't been broken since 19. So we did really well with not a lot of power. Nowadays, the Pro Jet guys are making 2,500 to 3,000 horsepower. And when we were running, we may have been making 1,900 horsepower. So the class has definitely progressed. Definitely takes a lot of money to run, and the guys got good equipment. With that being said, I mean, everything we put together on this new boat, we put fuel tech in it. We wired it in case we wanted to go blown alcohol Hemi. We wired it for big nitrous setup if we want to do that later. We did everything right in anticipation of going back after it at some point.
Right.
Not immediately, just because it's going to be pretty dangerous, and I still got a little one. But at some point we may go back after it.
Okay, so let's back up a minute because we're getting ahead. So after F-Bomb, what was the next boat that was your?
So the next boat that I sold F-Bomb, and I bought a flat bottom, which is something I said I would never drive. Had a buddy talk me into getting in his and making a pass, and I had a lot of fun. So we built a pretty, we took a beautiful flat bottom and redid everything and put the Sunset motor in it, and decked it out in all flow supply stuff. I mean, the boat was probably the nicest one I've had. And we did the first year with a borrowed motor, we runnered up for the championship. And then when we put the Sunset motor in there, we won the championship and won boat of the year. So we did good. There were a lot of crashes at the time that I was running the class. I want to say there was 10 to 12 crashes and probably 3 or 4 deaths. And last year in Waco, I think you were there. Mm-hmm. I was racing a buddy in the semifinals, and he just got out of shape and ended up having a crash and passing away. So that was the last straw for my wife. And I knew it was coming.
She did say directly after that, this boat's for sale.
Yes. And I really thought that I would never set foot in it again. But after giving her a month, and, a lot of the drivers in the flat bottom class, there's people that are meant to be in boats. And I hope people don't take me wrong by saying this, but there's people that belong in a flat bottom, and there's people that don't belong in a flat bottom. A flat bottom is definitely the most dangerous boat you have out there because you have to drive it from start to finish. You can't have an ego in those boats, and you have to run your race or you'll get in trouble. And a lot of the crashes are probably, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 100% of the crashes that's happened the last couple of years have been 100% driver error.
Now, let's explain for people that are following this that don't know what a flat bottom boat is, because I was intrigued whenever you brought me over to your boat and showed me how it's operated and how you control it and how you drive it. Let's walk them through how this boat is laid out and what makes it what it is.
So in a jet boat like I have now, you just put a hardware setup in it and you point it and stab the gas and hope your hardware's set up. In a flat bottom, you are in full control of the attitude of that boat from start to finish. So bass boat terms, your trim on your outboard, there's a cavitation plate that's on the back of that boat that moves up and down, and that's tied to your left foot. So when you leave in that boat, when you leave the starting rope, you have your foot buried to keep the nose of that boat from climbing too much out of the water and flipping it over. As the boat sets, you start releasing your foot to let that cavitation plate up so you can free the boat up to where it needs to set and where it needs to run. It's
got less drag in the water, right?
Yes, but there's a point that you free them up too much, as you've seen. Mm-hmm. They get too free and they go airborne and they chime in, and then that's when you have crashes. So you really have to be on top of your game and really have to feel the boat and feel what it's telling you to be able to drive those things right. And for me, driving, I like to drive even in the car. We try to put timers and everything. And I'm like, look, guys, I want to drive. I want something to do. I want to shift. If I can't do it, we'll do timers. But, hey, I want to do something. So for me, the flat bottom was the ultimate driving the boat experience. When you can go run 399 and 4 flat 6 passes in a row to half track, that means I'm doing my job. Mm-hmm. So that's what I got out of it, is the excitement and the enjoyment to know that I can drive the boat consistently. But again, they're the most dangerous type of boat out there. So with all the crashes and everything, we did get rid of it.
But you did end up winning the championship that year with it, right?
We did the year before. We didn't make but 2 or 3 races last year with it, so we weren't running for the championship. But the year before, we won the championship, and we won flat bottom boat of the year. So we did well. After Waco, I really thought I was done, but my wife let me go to Wheatland, Missouri for the $10,000 to win race. We ended up winning that one. Yeah, we won that one. And then there was 2 big money races in California that we went to at the end of the year. And I got down to 3 boats on the $10,000 race, and a 10-cent electrical connector on my ignition switch cost me the race. So anyway, we brought it back, and I made the deal to get my old boat back, F-bomb. And I was going to go back pro jet racing with a blown alcohol Hemi, and then did a little soul searching of how dangerous that was going to be, and me still having an 11-year-old. So I ended up selling the boat to a buddy of mine that's running it right now. And I bought Stacy's boat, which was basically a brand new boat, and tore it apart, ripped it, everything out, rewired it, put Fuel Tech in it, and put the Sunset motor in it. And now we're here. The first race we went to with the boat was last weekend in Wheatland, and ended up falling off the trailer and having a hot rod. So everything's turned out pretty good so far.
Now, so far, you ran 4 passes last weekend. It was 601, 602, 601, 602, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's consistent.
Yeah, very much.
How does the water affect consistency?
I mean, the wind, the headwind turns and comes at your head from your tail, the ripple in the water. If you're on the river, the current, everything takes into account what that boat's going to run. Fortunately, we were in Wheatland, which is a man-made place. It's one of the nicest places you can race. The water was pretty consistent all weekend. The wind did turn at one point, but it wasn't too bad, so it didn't affect the boat. We had changes we could make to get the boat probably 2/10 faster, but there was no point doing it. On Sunday, the air got from 3,200 feet all the way up to 4,600 feet. Mm-hmm. And I literally changed nothing on the motor. I didn't change timing, didn't add no power, didn't change the boat setup. And that thing ran 601, 602, back to back to back to back. And the only thing that I can attribute that to, as far as the motor not falling off, is the oxygenated fuel. What I found since we've been running that oxygenated fuel is the motor is not near as picky on DA. I mean, if it gets stupid like in San Angelo where we're running 5,500 foot of air, then yeah, it falls off a little bit. But that 1,600 foot that it changed did nothing to the motor.
What fuel are you running?
I was running the Q16, but we switched last year over to Fuel Factory, which is some of the VP guys that left, and they're equivalent to Q16, which is called F16O.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't see any advantage from one to the other. They both performed exceptionally well. And when the DA changes a lot, I don't fight it like other guys do. So right. It's pretty nice to have. I mean, you got to stay on top of the carburetors, keeping them clean, all that good stuff. But it's pretty good insurance to help ease your pain on DA changes.
Right. Now, whenever you switch to the Q style fuel, I'm assuming you had to rejet the carburetors and. Yes.
Yeah. We went up, I think we had to fatten it like 30%, something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, definitely rejetted everything. Like when you did my nitrous kit this year, I've never sprayed anything on the Q. So this is going to be new to me. We fattened it up a little bit. We made the jet spread a little bigger. And so we're going to sneak up on it when we start to spray it for sure.
Now, what are you, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
When are you going to start running the nitrous on it?
I may, just for time purposes, I really think I have enough left in the boat that I can go to San Angelo next weekend and run, but I don't have enough test passes. So I'm going to make one pass and throw a bunch of changes at it and see if I can get to the number. If I can, I'm going to put the bottle in it and spray it. So I would assume we're definitely going to have to put the bottle in it next weekend. And
your class is an index class?
It is the fastest open boat index class you can run.
Nice. So what are your, let's go through your plans now with this new boat. What classes are you planning to race and what events?
So we're going to run quick eliminator with the SDBA and KDBA this year. There's a $10,000 to win. It's what I call a real race where 20 boats show up and 16 qualify to get in to run for the 10 grand in September in Paris. So we're going to run that one. And then they do some outlaw style racing that we may try to fit in and turn the nitrous on and spray it from A to B and see how we fare up. We don't have enough power to run with the Project guys right now. With the motor and on spray, it may make 1,800 all out. But I mean, those guys are making 2,500 plus right now. So we're gonna fit in where we can get in right now, but at some point later, I'd like to build another big nitrous motor, or even venture out and try to do something blown. So
I'm hearing that the 998 cubic inch motors are pretty good.
No doubt.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
you know,
if you're wanting to go
there's
big.
there's a guy that has a twin to my jet boat, my old jet boat F-bomb, with one of those Musi motors.
Yeah.
And I think, in my personal opinion, and everybody else may disagree with me, but those motors aren't meant to turn a lot of RPM, and you can physically only get a big enough impeller in that pump. I mean, 9.5-inch impeller is all you can get. You can only make it so big. And I think when you go with those motors that don't want to be turned over 7,000, you struggle. And I think that's why the big cubic inch guys have been struggling, is just because they can't hold the motor back enough.
That makes sense.
So a 5-inch motor, or a 5.2, 5.3-inch motor that you can turn up to 75 or even 8,000, I think those are the way to go, because I just don't think you can get a big enough impeller in that pump to hold that big old Musi motor back.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to go with the differences of what it takes to make a boat go as opposed to making a car go.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the guy that's running Jeremy Dickerson right now, he took my record. He has I think it's a 5-inch bore space motor, maybe just 700 inches, and a smaller boat than what I got. And the dude is so fast out of the hole. I mean, he's running, I think he's got the record at a 340 at 138, 139 mile an hour, because they cap it at 145 in that class.
What's the distance?
He's 660.
660.
For that class is 660. We run 1,000 foot.
340 flying.
Yeah.
And he's been in outlaw trim where there's no mile an hour. He's been in the 330 range at 144. So, I mean, he's still got some left. And I'm going to tell you what, that boat is a freaking rocket, man.
Yeah.
Now, what's the combo in that boat?
It's a jet boat like mine. It's just a little bit different setup. It's about a foot shorter, a little lighter. Jeremy's been working with that style of hull for as long as I've been racing, as long as I've known him, and he's got it figured out, man. I mean, when I found out he was going to do it, I told all the blower guys and everybody, I said, Jeremy's going to be the one you have to watch out for. I mean, he's going to be the one that's going to come in here and just wreck shop. And he did. I mean, out of the box, he jumped on top real fast, and he's going to be tough to beat. I think it can be done, with a boat like mine, but it's going to take some work.
Now, you also drive your father-in-law's capsule boat too, correct?
Yeah.
And
yes, sir.
What is that boat? Like, explain to people what a capsule boat is.
So the capsule boat is basically same style hydro. Ours is a little different. It's a bullet. Typically the bullet holes run top fuel out here, and alcohol hydro, which is, our boat is used to run alcohol hydro, but we run it in the fastest index class you can run in a capsule, which is 520. So we run 1,000 foot 520 index at about 178 miles an hour. The boat has a capsule in it like you see in the Shoemakers, dragsters, and all that, because that car design capsule came from boat racing. And they kind of incorporated it in everything. You got basically a fighter pilot shield on you. You're strapped into a roll cage with ratchet strap seat belts. And when you shut your visor on your helmet, you're on oxygen in case anything was to happen and you sink.
Right.
Definitely a lot safer in those boats than an open boat. But the sensation in those boats are a little different. You don't get the wind, you don't get a lot of noise. So, you got your trade-offs. You're definitely safer, but you lose a little of your sensation.
Going back to the kind of boat you run, how does a crosswind affect you on, I understand a headwind, I understand a tailwind, but does a crosswind really affect you guys going down through there, or not so much?
It will. If you have your boat set up loose to where you're trying to get everything out of it, a crosswind will definitely move you over, and it can happen quick. I've always been a conservative guy. I've never ran mine on the edge, so I've never had to fight that. If the crosswind's so bad, that we're not going to run, it'll be white capping and they're not going to send us down through it. Well, but I have seen guys that have run their setups, you know, I wouldn't say on the edge, but free. And I've seen them move. I've seen the crosswinds move these boats over a whole boat length in the lanes. So, you know, just depending on your setup and how you run your boat.
That would definitely get your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be just like your car moving over towards the wall.
Yeah. How did
no doubt.
Dennis just passed the stands? You done changed lanes.
Yep. Done that in San Antonio before.
Going back with you obviously have a family dynamic with your father-in-law and you and your wife and everybody. Is there any interest in your young'un coming up and running boats too? Do they have like a junior type class for the boat guys, or is that something that's not really thought of?
No, 100%. I mean, my little one's probably the only reason I'm still doing it. I still enjoy to do it, but I don't yearn to do it like I used to when I was younger. But he is literally ate up with this stuff. I mean, he eats, he sleeps, he breathes it. If we don't go to a race, he is the maddest little sucker you can. I mean, he knows everybody. He knows everybody's sponsors. He could be the announcer without an announcer card. I mean, the kid is ate up with it. So at I think the age of 12, they can get into the jet ski and start there. And then after the jet ski and they turn 15, I think, and get a permit, then they can actually get in an actual boat of any sort.
So one thing that I've always thought about is sometimes it seems like our sport kind of dies away, whether it's boats, planes, trains, whatever. And unless we bring up this next generation that's coming, we're not going to exist anymore, because some of us old guys, we're going to go away. I mean, you're eventually going to go away. And you've got to have something to replace it. But I just didn't know if they did anything similar, but that's kind of interesting that they do it like that.
I mean, right now, to be honest with you, there is a lot of young kids and a lot of young kids in the ski class right now. And even for the last 4 or 5 years, you've seen them, grow from the jet skis and they're in boats now. So it's good to see the young generation doing it, because, boat racing doesn't get a lot of exposure. It did when Lucas Oil had the circuit and everything. We got TV time, everybody got, the big guys got big sponsors and such. But now it's more live stream type deal, not MAV TV anymore. So we're trying to do the best we can with marketing and getting the word out and getting people to come to boat races, because it is different. It's a little slower pace because of the water and trying to get boats in and out of the water than you would at a regular drag strip. But getting people out there and getting them interested is what we're really trying to work on right now.
It seems like Marble Falls is always one that everybody knows about. And San Angelo is one of them that everybody knows about. And like you said, Wheatland up there at Lucas Oil, that everybody knows about that one. And I think that goes back to when they was televised all the time. But go ahead.
No. I was saying, I mean, the Marble Falls, everybody knows about it. Marble Falls is not my favorite place to race because I've almost crashed a bunch there. The water is really tricky. But it's a good venue. The city is behind it. A lot of people usually come. It's good for spectators. So, you got to take the good with the bad in those situations. San Angelo is probably one of the best places outside of Wheatland, Missouri to watch a race at, and even to race at. The venue's good. The view's good for the spectators. You can walk through the pits, put the kids in your boat, take pictures with them, whatever. I mean, San Angelo's hot, but it's probably one of my favorite places to race.
When is that race?
That race is not this weekend, but the next. So the 28th and 29th.
Okay. So that would be a good race for somebody that has never experienced a drag boat race to come check out.
Yep. And I think they may even have 1 or 2 Top Fuel boats there exhibitioning that weekend.
Now, the Top Fuel boats is still a capsule boat, but it's a blown alcohol setup, right?
No. It's Nitro.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Kevin Kinsley was driving one for the last couple of years, and Todd Haas, which has been in the car scene with all the guys forever in Top Fuel, he owns a fuel boat. So instead of being on the water, it's basically the same equipment they use in the car motor wise, just trying to get it to hook up with 2 propellers on the water. But those guys run, what are they running now? I think they're running 800 feet now. They cut them back from 1,000 feet. When they were running 1,000 feet, they were running 265, 270 mile an hour.
Yeah, they're flying. I'm real good friends with Kevin and Todd. So
yeah.
Kevin drives fuel altered for the guys that I run around with. So we talk about all the boat stuff, and he's one of those guys that almost died in one of those capsule boats, but it was luckily he was in a capsule boat.
Yeah.
Do the capsules?
No, if you've never seen a fuel boat, a top fuel boat, it's one to see.
Yeah, and the neat, and I hate saying that word, but the neat part about it is if there's an accident with one of those capsule boats, like the top fuel ones or whatever, and they come apart, that capsule stays together and it just kind of bobs along. And that way it gets the safety safari guys out there to catch up to them, get them out of the boat. But if something happens and they porpoise and they go under, they've got oxygen, like what Tim said a while ago, and they've got a little bit of time. But, I mean, it's still time is of the essence.
Didn't they always used to sink? And you had to sit down there and wait for them to find you?
They've had a few sink in my years of racing that I've seen. I think it's if something hits or damages the composite of the capsule itself, it fills up with water before they can get there. Or if, the lid comes open. I've seen the lid come open on one guy because he's had some, damage to the latches or the cage was old something. The lid comes open, you're definitely probably going to go down before they can get to you. But I would say 95% of the time they get you before you sink. Okay. And for me, driving a capsule boat, that's my worst fear. I mean, I can get in there. They can put me at the bottom of the lake. I know they're coming for me. No adrenaline running. I'm fine. I'll sit there as long as I got air. But in the event that you have a crash, you have the adrenaline run and you want to get out. I want to get out of the boat after I'm done with the pass. I mean, as soon as I'm done, I'm lifting my lid and I'm trying to get out of the boat. So my worst fear is actually having a crash in it and sinking. And having to sit there and wait on somebody to come get you. So
that'd be kind of freaky.
You're putting your life in somebody else's hand at that point because it's hard for you to get undone. You have this big old air-filled helmet that's trying to pull you to the surface, and you're trying to unhook your air. And so they tell you, look, just sit there and we're going to come get you. But man, I'm telling you, if you go through an instance like that, you're ready to get out if you're able.
It's a lot easier to say than it is to do.
Are there locators on those capsules where they?
There is. Okay. There is. There's a sonar pinger. So when that thing gets wet, it starts sending out a frequency, and those guys, they have this mechanism that locates that signal from the capsule.
Okay. Now, about 4 or 5 years ago here in Waco, one of those boats that came apart, the motor sank down to the bottom of the river, and they couldn't find it during the race. Did they ever find that motor?
Yep. Yeah, they'll usually go if the motor's out of the way and not going to cause any problems, for racing the rest of the day, they'll usually go get it at the end of the day. Now, if it's shallow, Waco's pretty deep and, got constant current. If it's shallow and it's in the way, then they'll go find it. They'll have to stop racing to go find it, get it out of the way so we don't have any problems.
Okay. I remember Brandon saying because we thought it couldn't get found, he was out there with his depth finder, like trying to find a motor.
Fish finder, where's that?
Yeah,
got to do everything to get to that honey hole fast.
That's it.
Yeah, back in the day, I actually sold fuel and filled nitrous bottles for I think it was the SBDA back then. It was a long time ago. It was like 20 years ago. I did it with Bobby Joe Thomastick. He's not with us anymore, but he used to be a Sunoco rep. And remember Turbo Blue fuel? It was part of Sunoco, and so we would do a lot of those river races. And I had a speed shop at the time, and we went and stayed. I can't remember where it was, but a lot of these rivers back then, it was just some terrible hotels you had to stay in, and we were staying in this hotel, and we got there late. He went instantly to sleep. I climbed in the bed and I started itching. Oh, no. I'm like, what the hell? And there was like lice eggs in the bed.
Dude.
So I slept.
It's like staying at the one up the road.
So I slept in the chair all night. I was miserable. And this morning It says we're running out of time. The next morning, I took and told him, hey, Bobby, I'm going to sell my trailer. I'm not doing this no more. Do you want to do it? And he goes, you're joking. And I'm like, nope, I'm out.
I done had enough.
Yep. And I sold my trailer that week because we were using my trailer done. And it was, I wasn't making any money, and it was hot and you were stuck in a trailer with no air movement. It was just miserable.
They used to come up there to Marine Creek Parkway in Fort Worth. We'd go see them every once in a while. But it is like that. It's just hotter than hammered hell.
Yes. Yeah. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was fun to talk with the people, and they would come up and you'd fill their nitrous bottles and, tell you about the boat. And it was a world I knew nothing about. So it was like very intriguing, and it still is. That's why I enjoy talking to you guys, like whenever you went over the boat, and I was just kind of floored over the fact that you controlled the bolt with a flap on the back of the boat, like, wow, that's wild. Can you imagine what I could do with that?
And going back to what he said, there's got to be one heck of a fine line on getting that cavitator to be right where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, there is. They're a lot of fun to drive, though. I will say that. I probably had more fun, and my wife will kill me because she knows this, but I've had more fun in the flat bottom, even though it wasn't as fast as the jet boat and it's not the capsule boat. I had a lot more fun in that boat than probably any of them. And it's just because I like to drive, I like doing things. So it kept me occupied from start to finish.
Right.
And this jet boat the other day, I was looking around and it ran 420s to half track to run the 6 flat, and that flat bottom would run 4 flat to run 6.0s. And so I was like, man, this thing's a turd. I'm looking around the clock trying to see what my reaction time was. Just kind of driving Miss Daisy in it. But
he went from running Pro Mod to Super Street.
Yeah.
Now, do you plan on getting back in a car, or are you done with cars?
In the Pro Outlaw boat?
No, just in general. Do you see yourself racing anything other than boats in the future?
For breaking the podcast, I'm Clifton here at Nitrous Outlet, here to talk about our cordless battery mounts. They are made of billet aluminum and non-conductive nylon. We primarily use these for our wraparound bottle heaters and our billet bottle heaters. Some of the finer details, obviously the billet aluminum, the non-conductive nylon. We prefer to use the billet aluminum because a lot of our competitors 3D printed it out of cheap plastic, and it just does not stand up. We wanted something that was durable, quality product that you want to use in your vehicle. It comes with a pigtail with 2 wires to connect to anything you'd wish to power up, not just a bottle heater. We have these for the DeWalt cordless batteries and the Milwaukee cordless batteries. They come with a 2-bolt mounting pattern that you can put on a panel in your vehicle. We also have our billet roll bar brackets that you can use for mounting on your roll bar. Nice and convenient, so you can get to easily. Or if you have one of our race light bottle brackets, we have this attachment that goes onto the front. Still nice and convenient for you to use. All right, let me show you guys how that looks attached to our bottle bracket. This will give you a good representation of everything I just talked about. We've got our bottle mounted in our race light bottle bracket. We've got our wraparound bottle heater in place, and we've got our billet battery mount right here on the front. This one is for a Milwaukee battery. You can see, snaps right in place and will power up your bottle heater, especially if you're sitting in the staging lanes, getting ready to go. It's good for that. If you're ready to order yours today, get on nitrousoutlet.com. And now back to our episode.
Yeah, so the father-in-law took off this year. We're going to make that big money race in his boat in September. So we'll make one race in that, and then he'll come back full-fledged racing next year. So we'll probably campaign 2 boats again next year, and then maybe 2027 is when I'll start thinking about maybe trying to go back after the project guys again a little bit. I don't know. It's a big step. It's a big money. However you do it, you build a big nitrous motor, you build a blown motor. It's a lot of money, but I think I want to give that one more shot before I turn the reins over to my kid. Because I know I'm done. I can't afford 2 boats. So when he's 15, he's going to be ready to do something. And at that point, I'm 100% fine with it. I'll be just fine tuning. So
I bet you have just as much fun.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I went to Paris without my boat because the motor was hurt. And I helped Scooby. I tuned for Scooby. I tuned my old boat that a buddy bought, and then his son's boat. So I stayed busy, and it was a lot of fun. But, you know, putting your kid in there, I think, is going to be a whole different element to it. And I'm actually looking forward to it.
I've noticed that with all the father and son and father and daughter race teams of,
it's like me and my
I'll watch them, and they, you know, the parents are, man, they're having just as much fun as whenever they were driving.
Yeah. I don't know. My dad, he would kind of get on to me every once in a while and teach me that I was wrong.
Hey, speaking of Scooby, I seen some post on Facebook that he was teasing you about.
Oh, the one about me? Yeah. So
taking advantage of a man when he's down.
Yeah, well, that's Scooby.
I like Scooby.
One thing you know about Scooby is you know where you stand. If he's messing with you, he loves you. If he ain't messing with you, he don't like you.
He don't have time for you.
That's it. So but he's a good guy, man.
I noticed though that you kind of skipped Dave's question about did you have any interest in going back to cars? So
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
The way you answered it, I just kind of figured your toes were webbed.
No. I actually missed that. You know, the last couple of years, I have missed the Pro Mod deal in the cars. I would get back into it. I don't know that I would, you know, I don't have the money to go run Midwest Pro Mod with, you know, Keith and those guys. I
don't think anybody does.
Big money stuff. But I mean, if they did some more local, like the Texas Automatic Pro Mod deal for me was great because they had motor combinations. So, you know, you had a 5.3 motor, you weighed this and one bottle and a number 6 line. If you had a 5.0 motor, you weighed this, one bottle and a number 8 line. If you had a 4.8 motor, which was what I did, you could weigh 2350, run 2 bottles and a number 8 line. So it kind of kept us on a level playing field. And I was running with 800-inch motors with a 665. And we ran really, really well. I mean, I may have been 400ths off the fastest guy that was running just because of the combination.
I ran the Texas Pro Stock deal, and it was limited to cubic inches, and it had to be an automatic. I mean, that was a lot of fun back then. But like you said, I was a little slower than a couple of them guys, Spot and Baldwin and them. But that automatic Pro Mod deal and the Texas Pro Stock Series, all those guys, they just kind of went away.
The Outlaw Top Sportsman.
Yeah. Well, it was
that was a 470.
Top Sportsman's 470.
Yep.
TDRA has a 460 class, but it lets everything, whether it's a slingshot dragster or whatever. If you can run a 460, get after it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so when we were running automatic Pro Mod, we were running it. Bob and I ran all the time together, Bob Galletti. And, you know, Nizer does their motors. He was doing my motor. We just had that group that I ran with reminded me of the boat guys we run with. That was a tight knit group of guys that would bend over backwards to help you, and, you know, very family oriented. So I do really miss running with those guys in the Texas Automatic Pro Mods for sure.
That's understandable. That makes it fun. It's all really who you're racing with that makes the experience what it is.
Yes. Yeah.
I hope that Dave's 450-ish class does not go away anytime soon, like within the next 2 or 3 years before I get my car done, because that's where I want to go run that. I want to run the 450s or 460 with the TDRA. I don't want to run a 420. And you can go do the 420 series with
Pearson.
No.
Pierce.
Dadgummit. We just talked about him. The Midwest.
Keith
Haney. Yep. They've got a 420 series.
Yep.
I can't afford to run 420s. I know that. So there's no sense in me trying. But I think I could get to the 450s easily.
Yeah. Well, I keep teasing Brandon McGee. You know, he's got all these cars now, and I'm like, Brandon, I still have my stuff. I still remember how to drive. If you ever need a shoe, just call me, buddy. I mean, if somebody were to call me, like Richard Otwell used to run the Texas Automatic Pro Stock, and I ran his car that his Pro Mod for a little while. And, you know, if someone was to call me and needed a driver, I'd damn sure be on board, because I do miss it. And I do miss the people in it. It's just, I can't afford to do both. And we made a decision as a family to do the boat deal. So that's kind of where I'm stuck right now.
Got to respect that.
Yep. So
yeah.
If do you guys have like a social media for your race team? Somewhere do you sell shirts? Do anything like that? Where can we find you at?
I don't have any shirts yet. I was waiting to get pictures of the new one and get some shirts made with all the sponsors and everything on it and the boat on it. So I'm going to be working on that. I run all my racing off my page on Facebook and Instagram, which is F-Bomb on Instagram. So as far as a dedicated page, I haven't done that. I've just been doing it through my personal stuff.
Okay, so if somebody wanted to follow your racing, and it would be F-Bomb on Instagram. And
F-Bomb 331 on Instagram, and just my name on Facebook.
It's Tim
reach
Ortiz.
out.
It's not my name. I mean, you're never going to get anywhere with that.
Sorry. Thanks for correcting me. You sound like Scooby.
So, is there anything you want to cover before we jump off here?
Is what? I'm sorry?
Is there anything you want to cover before we jump off here?
No, I mean, first and foremost for you guys, I mean, you've been with me since 2019 or 20, I think. And when we put your stuff and got rid of the old NOS stuff on my program, it made a world of difference. So, you stuck behind me with all my endeavors with the jet boat, the flat bottom, and now the jet boat, and even, the Pro Outlaw with the fittings and stuff. So I can't thank you enough, because people like you, the little people that I have that help me, it helps my program a ton. Maxima Oil is another one that's been with me a while, and their products and giving me and helping me with that goes a long way. Troy Green with Maxima Racing Oil, he's taking really good care of us. He helps us with both the boats, mine and my father-in-law. So, I mean, the guys like you, the long-standing, I mean, to be honest, I don't know that I'd be doing it without the help. I do, have my father-in-law helps me out with, a little monetary stuff here and there, Pat Kinsey Drywall, which has been behind me forever. So, and then Scooby, I'm going to go ahead and give him a whole lot of credit right now, because when my motor broke, it broke. I lost oil pressure at the lake and crank rods, pistons. I mean, that was a hefty bill with Joe at Sunset. And he called me. I told him I was done for the year. And he called me and said, let's get it done. So if it wasn't for Scooby and Texarkana Glass, I wouldn't be racing this year. So
awesome.
Yeah, that's
big.
I love Scooby to death, man. And I know for a fact that he calls you lover. And he calls me lover.
Yes.
So that means that we're in with those.
You're in a group, huh?
No,
we're in with Scoob.
No doubt.
Is that considered an orgy?
I think so.
Yeah.
Menage, whatever you call it.
No, and he reps, we've got y'all stuff on his motor too. And we spray that thing every pass, and he reps y'all. I mean, we had 3 boats out there, I think, this weekend, all from Texas, repping Nitrous Outlet, and we did pretty good. They went to the finals, and we ended up winning. So it's a pretty good weekend for us out there.
Yeah, a win and a runner-up, and I don't know what the other boat did.
I think Branham went out first round.
Scooby won last weekend?
They runnered up.
No, he runnered up, yeah.
Man, we didn't get that notification.
Yeah, we did.
And
we shared it.
He did win the race in Paris, the first SDBA race too. So
I did see that one. Yeah. I know we shared that one.
No,
see, I love it when my guys are doing their job and I have no clue what's going on.
Hey, going back to that Maxima Oil, their assembly lube stuff. They got this little red lube. Have you tasted that?
No, I have not tasted it, but I've used it.
Cinnamon taste to it.
Why would you taste it?
Because that's what Troy said. He goes, here, try this. I was like, okay. Put a little bit on my tongue, and sure enough, it's got a cinnamon taste to it, like a Jolly Rancher.
That's funny.
I wouldn't drink it, but I mean, you always end up tasting some fluid, whether it's transmission fluid, power steering, whatever. You know what they taste like over the years. Maxima Oil.
Normally it's by accident, though.
They have the best tasting assembly lube.
So
that's funny.
Tim, we appreciate all the support you've given us in return, and we're really careful who we work with, because we want to surround ourselves around quality top people, and you're definitely one of those racers.
Well, I appreciate that. That means the world. I mean, we try to. I know I try to be as humble as I can. Sometimes when folks tell me I can't do something, which was with this motor and this boat, they said we'd never be able to run QE numbers naturally aspirated in a jet boat in this part of the world. And we did it. So sometimes I'll try to take a little jab to make people eat crow when a lot of them are hating on you. But I try to do the best to represent the guys that help me, because that is the most important thing to me, is representing the companies that invest in you. So we do our best, and we try to make you guys proud, and I hope we continue to do so.
Well, you do great, and we enjoy working with you, and we appreciate it. We hope we continue to do our part. And
absolutely. And if you guys ever need anything from me, I'll be there.
Same here.
Though, I've seen some of his deals where they're at the lake and what have you, and they have crawfish boils that are like the back of a pickup truck amount of crawfish.
That's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
so
they've been inviting us out, and I just haven't been able to make it on my schedule.
We'll have to get you guys out, because usually we'll do one bull a year that's 600 or 800 pounds. So it's usually a pretty good shindig.
That was earlier this year when they did that. I was like, dang.
Yeah,
that'd be a good time.
Yeah, the father-in-law had Josh Ward playing, and it was a good time.
Oh man. So, well, we're gonna wrap this show up and let you get back to work. I know you're trying to be a working individual today.
I appreciate you guys getting me on here, and I've enjoyed it. And like I said, hopefully we'll keep kicking a little butt this year and see how it goes.
Well, we'll be following you and sharing your results.
Thanks for coming on and visiting with us.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Later on.
All right. Bye.
Bye.